Hi, my name is Kurstin Howe, and I did my research on TikTok and its effects on the sustained attention of college students. So why did I choose this topic? I chose this topic because I found myself having difficulty focusing on assignments for long periods of time. And also TikTok was taking up almost all of my downtime. So I stopped doing my other hobbies such as reading or watching TV. And TikTok is relatively new, so not much research has been done in general, or more specifically on attention. So what does the previous literature say? So some examples of social media is Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and TikTok. Um, these social media sites require the use of profiles to use the app, which allows you to interact with the content and other people. So interaction can mean liking, commenting, and following others. So what is TikTok? TikTok is a social media app that allows users to post videos and slideshows of photos. Some videos are a lip sync of other sounds, or just you upload your own video. Most videos are viewed through what's called an For You page, which has an endless amount of videos determined by an algorithm. This allows users to endlessly enjoy content forever, as long as there's never an end to the videos on that page. In 2022, it was the most downloaded app. Research on the effects of social media are mixed. Some researchers say that it has positive effects, and others say it's mostly negative. So I'll talk a little bit about both. So some positive effects include increased social support, enhanced self-esteem, and decreased feelings of social isolation. Social isolation can be defined as a state in which an individual lacks a sense of social belonging, true engagement, and fulfilling relationships. There are two ways one can interact with social media, one being active and the other being passive. Active engagement is when a user is liking, commenting, or posting, or just any engagement with the app. Passive is just browsing and scrolling, or just like what's called doom scrolling is when you just scroll for really long periods of time without doing anything else. It has been found that passive use has more negative effects than active use. This is likely due to the tendency to compare oneself negatively to others with no meaningful online connection. Other effects include things like emotional instability or internet addiction, and those who have internet addiction exhibit signs such as, or symptoms that are similar to drug, alcohol, and nicotine abstinence syndrome when social media is taken away. Research indicates that harmful effects can occur just after 30 minutes of use, so prolonged usage is not necessary to see these effects. So what does this mean for a college student? Well, a college student's performance is based on things like work ethic and the ability to pay attention. So what's most common for college students is sustained attention. So sustained attention is a capability to focus on a particular task for long periods of time. And college students use this type of attention when completing tasks such as homework, tests, and attending lectures. So how does the use of TikTok affect sustained attention? My hypothesis was that those who watch TikTok will have worse sustained attention than those who watch TED Talk videos. From this point on, I will refer to TED Talk as TED videos because TikTok and TED Talk sound very similar. So I will refer to TED Talk as TED videos. So my independent variable was the type of video that was viewed. So the two levels are TikTok and TED video. The dependent variable is the sustained attention, which can be categorized as number of errors and the response time, which I will talk about in a few slides. So I conducted my research on 20 college students. Some received extra credit in an intro to psych class, but otherwise there was no compensation. For those who had the task of watching TikTok videos, they used their own device. And for those who watched the TED video, I provided the computer for them to use it on. A sustained attention task was created to measure the attention. And for procedure, the participants either watched TikTok for 10 minutes. So I instructed them to use the app how they normally would for 10 minutes. And those who watched the TED video just watched the video for 10 minutes. After, they both completed the 30-minute sustained attention task. So the task consisted of a number on a screen increasing by 1 every 1.5 seconds. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. At a random time, the number would skip. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So it skipped 5. This is considered the target event. The participant was instructed to hit the spacebar as fast as possible when they noticed this skip. So their response time was recorded in milliseconds, and the percent of errors was recorded, which included the missed target event or a false positive when the participant hit the spacebar when the target event hadn't actually occurred. So this is a graph of my results. On the left side, it's the response time in milliseconds. And on the bottom, it's the time. So block 1, 2, and 3. Block 1 is the first 10 minutes of the test. Block 2 is the second 10 minutes, and block 3 is the third 10 minutes. So as you can see, the TED video respondents were responding faster at about 25 milliseconds. Then, as the test went on, they had a significant increase in their slope, bypassing TikTok at the end by about 50 milliseconds. So by the end, the TED video viewers had the slowest reaction time to the target event. For the percent of errors, TED Talk had the most amount of errors for the entire test, which had a dramatic increase from block 2 to block 3. So there was a statistical significance in the blocks of time of the errors and their reaction time in the TED video participants. So as you can see in this graph, the difference between block 1 and block 2, block 1 and 3, and block 2 and 3 for TED Talk, it was found to be statistically significant in the difference, as well as the percent of errors. There was no statistical significance between the two video types, nor there was a statistical significance between the different blocks of the TED Talk viewers. So as you saw, both groups increased in reaction time and errors as the test progressed. And the TED video group did worse in both percent of errors and reaction time by the end. So what does this mean? My hypothesis was not supported. Some possible explanations was that TED Talk was an attention task in itself. So the TED Talk videos were all 10 minutes long. So going from that to immediately taking the test, it was kind of like it may have been two attention tasks versus like the TikTok usage where it's a new video with every scroll. So it's a little bit different. The TED Talks were also more thought-provoking. So, excuse me, in the videos, the topics range from things from marijuana reform to the exploitation of college athletes. The participant chose the video they watched out of like 5. And in these TED Talk videos, there's usually a call to action towards the end. So these may have been distracting to the participant, and they were distracted when taking the attention task, so it may have caused them to do worse. Also, TikToks may have caused participants' attention to be reset with every new video. Since every video was different, their attention span may have been reset, therefore giving a different basis for the test when it was presented. Some limitations is that we had a small sample size of 20, so if there had been a larger group of people to have done this on, it may have showed significant results. As I mentioned before, the TED Talk video was a different type of video where it was long continuous video, and the TikTok videos were short, different videos for 10 minutes. And there was a short amount of time for data collection. for the video itself and the attention task. So as I mentioned earlier, the research showed that these negative effects can happen after just 30 minutes, but because I had to sit there with the participants, um, at this point, the research for each participant had been an hour. So if I had decreased the amount of time they had to watch the video and take the test, it would have just created a very long um, time to do the research, which would have decreased my sample size because college students are so busy and they don't have a lot of time to give me in the first place. So I'd also like to acknowledge my thesis advisor, Dr. Odekirk, who I couldn't have done this without, and my dad, John Howe, who created the attention test from raw code, which is very impressive and lifted a huge burden off of Dr. Odekirk's and my shoulders. Thank you.